I'm not real good with these, so hopefully it's working. So Sabrina, the last time we talked was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been going around. I went to the UK recently, and people were asking me how you were doing, and I prefer that you tell them.
Well,
So
my mantra is um, every day and every way I'm getting better and better, you know.
going around. I went to the UK. Hold on. So I think we're live. So if anybody's on there, just give me a thumbs up and see if it's working. You know, at the beginning of these meetings, it's always so awkward because you have no idea if it's streaming or not. It
Right.
says it's being live streamed, but I don't know. I don't know.
Participant. Can I look at that? The participant? Well,
There should be a
that would be
place.
you, Ella.
There should be a place for the chat. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You're
So
chatting as a
anyway, um, what tell everybody what's happening and
um well, I'm coming up with um all kinds of ways to deal with things like fear,
mhm.
um, indecision, forgiveness. But there's a lot of heavy duty patience. That's what I'm here. Because anytime my attention diverts off of Butters, he's like, oh, that's not acceptable.
Thank God you have Butters because Butters keeps you
Yeah.
entertained and
Yeah, he's a mess. It's a rainy day, and they had him out at day camp. I put him in day camp today, and it was raining. So I guess he was playing around in the rain, and he's all tired. So he's grumpy. But he'll be there
um,
all day long tomorrow from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow.
so
Because
what's happening tomorrow? Tell everybody what's
tomorrow's
happening.
chemo day. So this happens every 2 weeks. So on the Tuesday before chemo day is when I put him in day camp and I run and I get lab work done. I have to do that the day before. And while I'm out doing lab work and stuff, I hit the grocery store and then I come home and I cook what I'm going to need for the next few days because I can't touch anything cold. And my friend Sue is, in charge of that department after chemo because I'm real sensitive to cold. It's a neuropathy kind of thing. So she will take out whatever I have cooked and heat it up for me so I don't have to do that. And she's sticking around till Friday. And I've been, because I have so much chemo going in me that the big deal is to rinse out what you don't need almost immediately. So they put me through 6.5 hours of it. And of course, every nurse in that infusion clinic, you get a different one every time. So you get to know them all. And they're all such a team at the Orlando VA at Lake Nona and Medical City. They're so professional and so sweet. And of course, now that I bring fancy cupcakes up there every time, I'm like their friend now.
You feed them.
I've made,
It's like you
yeah,
bribe the nurses.
yeah, why not? They need it. They deserve it. They need a little sunshine. They're dealing with sick people all day long. It's got to get dismal. So I go in there all doing makeup at 5:36 a.m. so I can get out. It's amazing I don't show up looking like a darn Picasso or something. Oh, did I do anything over here? So, and I wear something bright and colorful because I just refuse to be a victim and to be sick or look sick. I look sick, you know,
Yeah.
like I've learned to just look in the mirror and go, that's right, baby, you get better and better every day. Better, better.
So
Look at how
the first
beautiful
time,
you are. And I mean, I make myself believe it because, I go, I'm well, and I'm doing all the quantum jumping and everything. But what I was getting at is now Fridays, I'm going to start going. There's a little place, I'm lucky to have it. It's a little wellness place up the street, it's not even a mile away, where I can go in and get that ionic foot bath thing. And whether you're well or whatever, this is a good thing to do. I mean, it pulls metals out of your body, it pulls toxins out of your body, and they're really cool about it because they can read it and go, well, that came from your liver, or that's some candida, you need to back off of this or that or whatever, So I'm like, oh, okay. So they've been kind enough to give me like a Groupon discount so I could do it more often. It's
Nice.
got the blessings, right? And so I'll be going there like right after I get the ball off, because they do the 6.5 hours of chemo and then they put this radioactive ball on me and plug it into my port. So I'm trying to sleep with that thing in a fanny pack for 2 nights, and Butter's in the bed with me, and
Wow.
it's just like, where is it? You're waking up. Where is it? Where is it? Because it's radioactive.
What is that
I'm rolling
radioactive
around with
ball for? What's it for?
it. It's more chemo. It's another chemo. Yeah, that's after the fact. So that there's something about, I mean, I can't keep up with all of it because I am
Mhm.
not a pharmacist, and they just start speaking Latin, and I feel like I'm falling asleep in grade school in church because I went to the Latin masses. I was like, right away.
Yeah.
They started talking about drugs. I'm like, whatever, So I just kind of can't keep up with it. But and then after that, after I turn that ball in, which I'm always real happy to just get across town, 30 miles each way to get them to take that thing off of me. And then I do shots that I have to give myself shots at the top of my leg and across the bottom of my stomach, which you could never tell me in a million years that I'd be able to do that without fainting. First couple of times I thought I was gonna, because I mean,
Hmm.
I could never be a junkie, and I could never be a phlebotomist either, because I mean, I'm sticking that needle in the wrong way and pulling it out another wrong way. It's just like the weirdest bruises.
Wow.
I'm like, I am tearing myself up trying to figure this out. But after that, I start feeling like myself again, because the shots are for your white blood cell count to build back up or
Mhm.
whatever. And I start feeling like myself again. So I've got like 4 or 5 days of woohoo, I'm me again. Yay, and I can drink cold drinks, and I can go outside and not like, melt
Yeah. So
like
I
a
know that you've
vampire.
been using a lot of things, and there's a lot of people out there who also are going through what you're going through. But
Right.
you're a real researcher, and you like to
Yeah.
research everything. You like to try everything. And at the beginning, when everybody found out that you had this, they wanted to know, like
Well,
what you were
believe me, there were,
using. So let's start
well,
with the first thing that you started doing. What was the first thing that you did?
the first thing I started doing was the Essiac tea and the bitter apricot seeds. And I think that
Mm.
made a big difference. And then I started doing the castor oil wraps.
Where
And I
where were
think
you
that
putting those at castor oil wraps?
right around the midsection, because everything was in my midsection. I was making sure that I really had it on top of my liver, because they were telling me there was a lot of, I mean, everything they told me, I was like, swipe left. I don't believe that. That's another universe. It's like, that's the matrix. You know what I mean? I was, because everything they told me, I was like, well, I'm not going to hold on to that or make it real.
Yeah.
I'm not acknowledging that at all.
Yep.
And because, you'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh my God,
Yep.
you know, and then you just go, I'm going to just lay back and hold my hands out and just breathe in all the love from around the world, that's coming my way, all the prayers and I want to send that back to them, and blessings too. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so, and then there's been a couple of big live things we did that had a bunch of really sweet comments. And here I am. I mean, it was just like nonstop waking up, 3 a.m., boom, like somebody set off an alarm, 3 a.m., 3 a.m. So, you're sitting there, you're too tired to be like awake and read anything. You're too awake to go back to sleep. So I would get on YouTube and look at our last session and take a moment to really take in all of the well wishes and the love and the prayers and the kookiness and the all of the incredibly gifted healers, and how they're like, is it okay? I was like, bring it.
There were a lot of people worldwide who were doing healing on you remotely.
Yeah, I was feeling it. I still feel it. I get these strange I mean, I'll feel something. I mean, it's almost like Tinkerbell's wand sometimes, with the little sparkles and all that, and I feel it, and then there's people that have gotten through to me and they're doing light language or singing songs or something like that. And it's fascinating,
And we had
and
Sean,
it's
Sean, the
so
Native,
kind of sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sean, the Native American, who was doing his Native American prayers and sending them to you also. So we want to thank him.
Yes, and I need to get in touch with him. I feel lousy about that because I mean, you sent me something and I've looked for it. And I'm going to need you to send it again because I do want to reach out to him. He's just a kind-hearted soul, and you could
Mhm.
just pick up on it. I have let other people listen to it, and there wasn't a dry eye ever. It was just so precious. This guy, he's just a personification of the kind of sweetness. And these people talk about getting online. There's all these people, and there's all these rotten people or people saying mean things. I haven't gotten any of that. I mean, that's how special your followers are
They
because
are.
they're all sweet as all get out, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, I think if one came in saying something sideways outside their mouth, they'd all gang up on them, find out where they live, and just get rid of them or something. It's like they would fix them.
Yeah. And
There would be some
tell
shadow work.
everybody what the doctors said about your recent results.
Okay, well, the last PET scan was one because they told me we're going to do 3 months more of chemo. I was like, oh no, because I mean, it is a challenge and it is a constant trying to just keep your head on straight, pay attention to what you're doing and just visualize the end result, and all the quantum stuff. And I've gone down every rabbit hole about this quantum jumping. It's just too fascinating and it's worked a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
so now we're going to do 3 more months, which we did, and then another PET scan, which we did, and then we would figure out what to do from there. Well, my doctor came in, and how'd she say it, Sue? Sue's over here in the dark. Sue, Sue, hey Sue. Oh my God. That's a couple of old chicks over here going, wait.
Sue helps Sabrina while she's doing all of this.
Yeah, Sue, she's a godsend. That's a miracle right there. Sue coming into my life because she's a sister-in-law of a friend of mine that lives up in Lexington, and she's just had her path changed big time. So, our mutual sweetie in Lexington said, "Y'all need to get together." And Sue just said, "It's on my heart to come help you." And I was like, "She says I'm not taking no for an answer." I was like, "Wow," because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next, and dagger, she didn't show up. And it's been wonderful because we have fun. We have fun. And she comes in on Tuesday night, and that's when I'm making cupcakes for everybody. So we eat one cupcake.
One, that's hard.
Yeah, she goes, "That's real hard about it. I eat one." And I tell them, I go, "I eat one of those whenever I make this for you." So anyway, well, the PET scan came in, and the doctor, she's a quirky bird. I'll tell you what, she doesn't know what to do with news of a miracle. It befuddles her. And she was pretty befuddled to the point of irritable. And she said the scan show, how'd she put it? She said the scan showed that it was dormant or something.
Yeah,
She said it was asleep or something. And I was like, what does that mean? Is it going to wake back up? What do you mean asleep? And she was just putting it in weird terms. And I was like trying to figure it out. And she goes, "You're not listening to me." I said, "You're not being clear. What is it, a miracle?" I'm thinking, well,
Yeah, I think people have a hard time dealing with miracles.
Yeah, I'm all about I'm a miracle walking anyway. So there's a lot of stories there about the miracles that I've befuddled a lot of doctors along the way in my life. So actually her physician assistant, and then I got a second opinion out of my primary because I'm military, I'm going to all the VA stuff. I'm like, I just want to know what's going on there. And they said, well, we don't see anything. We don't see anything. And I said, what does that mean? And my primary said, well, that's the miracle department right there. And then because they kind of hold it back, they don't want to use the word miracle.
Yeah.
that don't, you know. And then when we came back, the next nurse, she goes, well, it's pretty miraculous.
They didn't want to give you too much hope.
But they don't want you to go, oh, hey, I'm cured. See you later, you know, because
Yeah.
they want to make sure, because it's so befuddling to them that they think, oh, maybe it's hiding, or maybe it's coming back, or maybe it's moved somewhere else, you know, because it couldn't just be all over the place, you know, stage 4 metastatic all over the place, you know, and now we don't see anything. So I consider that a miracle.
Mhm.
I consider, like, either if your machine wasn't working that day, let's do it again. I'll drink the radioactive crap. I'm getting used to it, man. I'm going to be like the Hulk pretty soon. I've got all this. It's just like, I'm going to be glowing in the dark and growing wings or something pretty soon. So, you know, I'm like, so I'm considering doing an outside thing. There's a lady's got a clinic about 45 minutes away from me, and she's got some kind of heat thermal kind of imaging thing. And, so, well, I think it's worth me dropping the money to get that, just so we can have a little bit more clarity. And if I present it to my team, they could take it or leave it, but I could have something to, you know,
Mhm.
go on. Because at this point, they decided, let's go ahead and do 3 more months. And I was like, no. So now we're doing 3 more months of the same chemo that they set up for colon cancer, which I do not have. I have a beautiful pink colon. And maybe ovarian, which, if it was ovarian, it's so rare that we would use the colon chemo. So I'm like, okay, they're making this up, but I'm just here for the ride, you know. I'm just like, okay, well, and then they're saying, then we'll do some surgery after that. So why? There's nothing there.
Yeah, they want to
I
do
don't
surgery.
understand.
Hmm.
They want to do surgery, like doing what? I mean, y'all just want to open me up and see what happens. I mean, come on. So it's just, they just cannot accept the fact that there's nothing there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and get this other thing done too. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. I don't have to swallow anything or inject anything before I do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But then, you know, they said, well, we're talking about debulking, you know, whatever's in there. And I'm like, well, if there's nothing in there, you got nothing to debulk, you know?
Hmm.
I You can still take some off my waist if you want to, because I'm kind of liking being slim.
Being thin.
Yeah.
You
I
like
mean,
that
because I'm
thin
not
look?
particularly thin. I've put on a few pounds eating oatmeal. I was doing oatmeal with wheat bran in it, 6 teaspoons of wheat bran a day, but I was putting too much oatmeal. And then I was putting like this vanilla protein powder that was really good. And then I would put like some molasses in there. And then I'd put some nuts. And then I'd put some fruit. Well, I mean, that all adds up. You know, I'm eating like
Lots of calories.
yeah, that's a lot of calories, you know. Well, it got me up to a good weight where I could take the chemo better, because I was really kind of puny, you
Yeah, your
know.
face was being sinking
Yeah,
in, and
yeah, I
you
was getting pretty
got
gaunt
your
and green looking. Yeah, you know, so I needed the carbs to get me back, but now I'm slowing down on that. That's
good. And
that
you're
oatmeal
sporting
will
and you're
add.
sporting a new do.
Oh, a very thin one. Lord have mercy. It's like you can see my scalp up in there. It's a good thing I had a bunch of hair to begin with.
Yeah, you
But it's
did.
getting
A lot
pretty
of hair.
thin, and I'm like, 3 more months. How many more do we have? Like 4, 4 or 5? She still can't hear me.
You've got a few
See,
more
you
months
can't
to go.
hear. Welcome to the club. You're one of ours. But so, but no, I'm just, you know, I, at this point, I just believe it's almost over, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, we'll be doing a little bit more than just a live here and there. We'll be,
Yeah.
um, I'm seriously looking into starting an online church. I don't know anything about them, but that came to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I talk about the prayer that came to me in the middle of the night. Uh, Alba was down in Grand Cayman, because why not? It's so pretty. And went to see a beautiful friend of ours, Bettina. She's gorgeous inside and out, just a beautiful person. And Laura from Louisiana went down there with her too. So they had a big old time. And they told us that they told me that another friend of ours who I think Bettina and Claudia are related, aren't they? Are they cousins or something?
And they've
I don't
been really good friends. Yeah.
know.
Childhood
They've
friends.
done, they're just really tight. So there was a medical issue with Claudia. And I was like, these are two of the happiest, these Austrian girls, big, strong, warrior, healthy. I mean, they do these videos of them going around picking mushrooms all over the place in Austria. I'm like, couldn't do that in Florida. You're either going to go on a trip or you're going to be sick, go on a trip to the hospital or
Mhm.
something like that. I was like, yeah, we don't do that around here. We don't just like pick random mushrooms and know they're okay. But they're super healthy, and all of a sudden Claudia's got this problem, So I prayed for her before I went to bed and woke up at 3 a.m. and something was just, this voice in my head would not shut up. It is like it'd say the same line over and over. And I was like, well, I guess I got to get up and write this down because it's not stopping. And then it would say another one. The second I wrote one down, it'd say something else. And I was like, okay. So I finally just picked up my phone and dictated it to notes. And I was like, and then it went away and I got really tired and just fell back asleep like real quick. And I
Mhm.
woke up in the morning and y'all were going out on a boat or something. And I was like, well, this thing came through this prayer and it's not the way I pray because I'm like a goofy prayer. I'm just, hey, please God, please do this. I believe you're doing it. Thanks. I mean, I'm just kind of, you know, holding hands. God's holding hands with me. Jesus is holding hands with me while I'm, you know, saying I believe this, and I know that you said this, so I'm holding you to it. Kind of, that's
Mhm.
kind of how I do it. But this was more than how I pray.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so they came back from the boat that they've been on a boat, and I I gave it to you, didn't I? I give you a copy of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a prayer, and I've had a couple other friends go, "I like that prayer. Can I substitute my friend's name for it?" I said, "Yeah, I think anybody could substitute a name in there and
Mhm.
still get the point across." So that happened, and that's about the biggest supernatural thing I've had happen lately. I mean, just I'm seeing a lot of lights and sparkles, and um, I'm hearing they laugh at me a lot. I hear my guides laughing at me a lot.
Sabrina, how do you prepare for your session at the hospital every 2 weeks? How do you mentally prepare?
Well, first, I'm cooking. I go running around, so that keeps me busy to get some groceries to cook things that I don't usually cook. Like tonight, I made a flatbread. It was kind of weird, but I mean, it was my first time doing it. So made a flatbread with some brie and pears, and I got a turkey tenderloin and roasted it and sliced that up and put it on it. And then you drizzle honey all over it, and it was pretty good. It was different.
Mhm.
And carrot salad. I made carrot and raisin salad because that's good for you. And chemo, I'm learning all the good things to eat with chemo. So we did that. And then I've got some salmon, and a neighbor is bringing over some teriyaki chicken and a salad. And she's very all about, no preservatives and all that. So she makes her own salad dressings, which are delicious. So she's got 4 little girls, one after another. I'm going to come over in a minute and bring over some food. But we've just eaten, so we'll eat that tomorrow. And that was real sweet of her. I mean, 4 kids back, and you're cooking this for me? Come on. How sweet is that? You know, but then we do, so I do that. I make Butter's food and I get some food together, and that helps me feel like, okay, we've got a little plan going for that. And then we get up at like 5:30 in the morning. I've got to have my chemo bag packed with like my ID that I forgot. Don't let me forget that. And because I got to pick up my shots and all that while I'm there at the pharmacy. But so we packed my bag with snacks and my IDs and my glasses and all the things that I'm going to need for 6.5 hours, just sitting there, with needles coming at me. And then,
How many needles do they put in you?
well, I've got a port. I mean, it's gross, but it's going to make a cool scar.
So it's just like a hole in your body?
Yeah, it's like look at that. It's
Tube. It's a
goes right
tube.
into my jugular. Yeah, it's
Wow.
like a little thing in there that they can plug into, and then it goes right into my bloodstream. So they can just plug whatever into that tube, just change it out. They tell me, okay, this is the one that's going to take away the nausea. That's going to, they give me a bunch of nausea stuff first, pills and everything else. And fluids. They make sure I'm hydrated, and then they put in, God, 4 or 5 more bags of chemo. Some of them last half an hour, some of them last 2.5 hours. But they'll have, they can plug 2 or 3 of them into me at the same time. So it's all going into the port. And then after all that, and then Sue's running around all over the VA because it's like this big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. looking building. I catch myself marching every time I walk in there. I was like, "Man, what am I marching?" So weird. But she runs around, gets her steps in, and then she'll call me something from the cafeteria, and I'm like, no, because the military students. But yeah, last time she got something good. It was like baked chicken with some vegetables. Yeah, that was really, really good. Yeah, it was good. And but otherwise, I've had the weirdest other food. The other food, it's a crapshoot. No, but it should. I bring crackers, and then they've got stuff they offer us, like ginger ale, and they have crackers.
Yeah.
And then there's volunteers coming through, and last time they had Girl Scout cookies, so I got some Girl Scout cookies that I've never seen before. And then they're like peanut butter and chocolate ones. I've never seen before. And then people bring crocheted little blankets and little goodies,
Nice.
so you're part of the family. It's the VA. And then when I usually have a panic attack. There's only like 1 or 2 times I didn't. So like, I am human. My body goes into a panic attack, and I go, okay, I'm shaking head to toe. I mean, my mind's not doing it. My body's like, I know I'm about to get hit with all this poison, right? And I know I'm not going to feel good. I mean, you know what you're walking into, and my body knows it. And so I get real. It's like my heart's palpitating. I'm shaking. I feel sick. And I know it's a panic attack, and I just go, man, I didn't panic, barely do anything with my
How long
hands,
does that
'cause
last?
I don't know. What's about
Maybe about half an hour.
about a half an hour?
And then you calm down.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes it's in the car, and Sue knows to give me a hug. As usually I just need to calm down, because I'm not doing any caffeine or anything. So I have to do breathing, and then I do some quantum jumping. I do my
So let's
daily
talk about
G.
that a little bit, Sabrina, because that's been a big, big change in your life. And I want to tell everybody
Yes.
about that because 3 of us discovered quantum jumping at the same time. It was
Simultaneously.
almost simultaneously. We all got hit with the Burt Goldman's quantum jumping, and Sabrina started doing quantum jumping to jump into a different version of herself that is totally healed. How did that work for you?
Well, let me point something out. When I was 8 years old, I was doing that. I didn't know Burt Goldman is the one that gave it that term. But
Yeah.
I knew, after being out of my body from my near-death experience, I knew that there's multiple universes all around us all at once, and that time means nothing. Past, present, future, all right here. And we can just step right into one or the other. And I mean, I was told I'd never walk again. I was paralyzed from the neck down, and I didn't listen, because I said, you're real smart and everything, but you're not God. And I know how to heal. And I know how to look at myself in the future, and in that state, look at myself in the past, which is the present. Okay. and say, I'm glad that's over. I'm glad that I'm all healed. I mean, there's this, you've got to put that emotion of gratitude and joy and relief, whatever emotions you have when
Yeah.
this miracle happens, you really have to tap into that and believe it with all your might. Don't let any doubt in,
Yeah.
because doubt is the devil for sure. And I did that again when I've been in some accidents. It's amazing them here, but
You've
I
had
fell
you
off a mountain into a chasm. Yeah, in a rappelling accident, and had to learn how to walk all over again. Did it that way. I almost lost my knee in a taekwondo sparring thing, and learned how to walk again and healed real quick from that. And then I went under an 18-wheeler. That was a biggie. Almost lost my right arm. Uh, they had to do a little reconstruction through here, because I was lucky to have a head. They kept telling me I should have been decapitated because.
Mhm.
So, and that was 2 years of healing, but I'm all better. And I was going to get my surgery on my right arm because it was dislocated 8 inches, and I couldn't use it for a year. And it was a lot of atrophy and spurs and stuff in there. And that I had my first session with Alba in 2019, April of 2019. And by God, she had something with a golden lasso, like she was Wonder Woman, and she had this golden rope going around it and going everywhere else. And I was like, this is insanity. And I came out of it and I felt better. Then I started feeling better and better. And I was lined up for surgery. And I went to the surgeon. And she says, well, you're not going to have a full range. You're just going to be like, over here. And I was like, but what about this? How did you do that? I said, hypnosis, baby. I'm like, Alba Weinman healed me. And she's like, what? So, but there's a matter of mind over matter. There's like we are energy, and we got to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
We are made up of energy,
And you have to
and
believe.
whatever
You have to believe 100%. It's not,
see that.
yeah.
Like, there's this little book that jumped off a shelf at me one time right after I saw a movie about Liberace. As a young girl, I was in love with Liberace. I thought he was the most fun guy on earth, and he was so talented, and he was so sparkly, and I just thought he was awesome. I was like, why isn't everybody in love with Liberace? He's awesome. So, I was a little kid. But anyway, so there was this biography about him where he was talking about how he read this book, and it was called The Magic of Believing. Well, this is where the secret comes from.
Mhm.
Between the Rosicrucians, Shakti Gawain's creative visualization,
Yeah.
and let's see, who was it? Psycho-cybernetics. Who was it did that one? That one was a biggie that I studied along the way. But then The Magic of Believing, this little bitty book. I was at a Goodwill or something, and it fell off a shelf right at my feet. And I was like, wow, that's that little book that Liberace was talking about. And I've read it multiple times, and somehow or other, whenever I need to find an extra copy, it pops up. I find them randomly, as this has happened half a dozen times. And I'm like, well, there it is, wanting me to buy it, so I can have an extra copy for a friend, and I'll give it to my friends. And I don't know if they're going to read it or not, but I go, this book can change your life, because it is the magic of believing. I mean, it's how much you believe it. You can make something happen by just believing it, and it comes true.
Yeah.
And you have to have it tells you step by step how to do it. You have to have that emotion. You want to write it down. You want to look at the mirror and look down into your eyes are. I mean, you can look down in your own eyes in the mirror, and you're looking into your soul, and you say something to your own eyes, that mirror technique, and you say, hey, because I mean, I walk by the mirror. I got 2 mirrors in my bathroom, and I'll get up in the morning. I was laughing about it. I was like, I look like Einstein's crazy sister or something in the morning. I mean, there's something just Rod Stewart would be proud, just like, what was I doing? My head on the pillow while I
Well, knowing your dreams, you probably were.
I wake up and I look at it and I go, well, there you go. I'm getting better and better every time. I mean, I have to laugh, but I'm just constantly having to check myself, keep my head on straight, stay positive, visualize, believe, quantum jump. Now, the quantum jumping thing, it looks like between you, me, Laura, and Bettina, and the people that are doing it, we all seem to use it just like some Reiki, people. If you talk to a Reiki master, they're using that Reiki that they studied as a baseline. Okay. And then they're adding their special sparkle to it,
Yeah.
and that's, I think, what people are doing with the quantum jumping, because, you can have a whole bunch of people on YouTube all talking about quantum jumping, but they're all just doing little versions of the same thing, their own version of the same thing.
Mhm.
And The Secret covers a lot of that stuff, because I mean, what she was going through was like, yeah, I read all those books too, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but it's always been there. It's always been there for us that we can make things. We're so critical of ourselves, It's like, oh, that's maybe somebody else could do that, but I just couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Or, well, I always thought about that, but I don't talk to anybody about it because they think I'm weird or something. You know what I mean? Just as always this little disclaimer of your power can't be possibly that big. You can't possibly be, an immortal soul that is so in connection with God that, that we're just a fraction, a little fractal of
Yeah.
what our potential is. We're just a small percentage of who we really are down here. And is ingrained at it somehow in us that we can't be all that. Oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you don't want. You don't need to.
Recently
You want to
I
be
went to
powerful.
visit, I went to visit somebody recently who was going to fix something for me. And I went to this guy's house. And as soon as I walked into the yard, I was taken back to when I was in my 20s, my early 20s. When I was in my 20s, I was living dirt poor. I mean, we had nothing. And whenever the bills would come in, I would cry. It was just horrible. And I was listening to how the guy was talking. And I realized that was the thinking that I had at that time. It was the lack thinking. It was the I'm never going to have any more thinking.
Right.
This is all I can amount to thinking. There was always a limit there was a ceiling. It's a very low ceiling. So you were like
Right.
always, hitting
Yeah.
that ceiling. And
Yeah,
I
that's that
realized
poverty feeling that
it's,
people that are poor have a hard time getting
yeah,
past that feeling. They are
exactly.
really oppressed by that thought that
Right.
there are a lot of excuses going on,
And I'm very grateful that I went through that. I'm very grateful for all the experiences that I lived through my life because, I could look back in my life and actually see at this point when I changed the way I thought about things, this happened. And then when
Right.
I changed this thinking, this happened. And then when I changed this happened. So, just when you think about your own health, it's the same thing. When I got sick a few years ago, it was like, well, this is not going to happen. We are going to get better no matter what. And very quickly, I sprung back. So it really is all in your belief. It is your
Yeah.
belief system and what
And
you
you really
believe.
got to visualize it. I mean, you really have to put yourself in that picture.
Yep.
And my mom used to do these vision boards before anybody knew what that was.
Yeah.
Okay. And she'd have one on the back of her door. And I mean, before you knew it, she's having to make another one. I'm like, why don't you make another one? She goes, everything came true on that other
Yep.
one. She was manifesting like crazy with these
Yeah.
vision boards. And she's the artistic side of the family. So, artists are visual. I'm an artist. So, I've done maybe 2 vision boards, and that's pathetic. I probably should be doing that right now. But, I get right in there and with the Burt Goldman thing, he keeps it real simple.
Hmm.
He doesn't, it's not like you have to be constantly praying, constantly praying. I do because I'm concentrated on staying in a state of gratitude. Okay. Gratitude and grace as much as possible. I mean, I am human, but whatever, I'm trying, but he just keeps it matter of fact. And there's another thing, I can't remember the terminology. I saw it again just the other day, and it's about that. When you pray for something, you don't have to pray for it again. I do, because I greet every day with prayers of gratitude and stuff. There's this little daily Jesus prayer thing. It's like 15 minutes, and the algorithm is on my YouTube. So as a different one pops up every day, and always seems to be a subject I need to hear about, and it says a little bit about scripture. So if I do want to look stuff up, because I'm scripture stupid, okay? I was raised Catholic. They didn't want us to know anything because that makes us powerful, ignorance is, promoted. You're supposed to make straight A's, but you know, you got to be, one of the sheep. You need to, you know what I mean? So, whatever,
Yeah.
Irish nuns and Catholics. So, but he really made it clear that he just keeps it very simple. And then there's this other thing where you just pray about it, you release it, you forget it because it's done, and you
Yeah.
see children pray like that. You don't see many adults pray like that. And that's almost like
Yeah.
they don't believe that was good enough. They might need to do about 500 more prayers exactly the same. And, I'm thanking God for healing me every day, all day long. And it's not because I don't believe that I'm healed. It's because I need to thank God for healing me.
Yeah.
That's like, because people go, how you doing? And I go, I'm getting better every day, but at the same time, people go, well, here you had, this PET scan that was remarkable. And I go, yeah, I'm healed. Did
Yeah.
y'all get it? I'm a miracle.
It is. You are a walking miracle.
A sign and a wonder. Yeah,
If we have spent hours and hours and hours, probably days on the phone talking. And it amazes me so many things that you've been through in your life that you've been a goner, pretty much. If
uh-huh.
anybody else would have been in that situation, they would have been dead.
Oh,
And
no, I mean, knock wood,
and you
just the
were
bullets
dead.
I've dodged.
And you and
Literally,
you did
bullets
die.
shot at me.
You've had so many situations in your life that proves over and over and over again that you can overcome whatever it is that they throw at you. It's almost like you really are like a real life Wonder Woman. I mean, you really are.
Well, my kids think I'm bulletproof, but I can take a hit. I tell you that, I
And
mean,
you
in
have.
sports, people go, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I go, "God, man, you took a hit," and I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So, but I really have. I've taken some real hard physical hits to my body, and I'm in my mid-60s, and I'm not gimpy. You know what I mean? I'm marching along, at the VA. But
And the stuff that
here's
you do, because you're not sitting around doing nothing. I mean, you
oh
are
no,
working hard at home now, again.
yeah, yeah. Like for the past week while I was myself, I'll show you right now. I mean, it's raining and stuff, but this whole patio got laid a couple of weeks ago, and every pot you see out here, I moved all that. I moved all this stuff around, all this stuff. I put those two chairs together. I built a deck back there and put a screen thing around it. My poor grass. It's just so happy for the rain. It was
Yeah,
crunchy.
so you're not using this so-called illness to stop you. And I
No,
think, that's what
no, this is
a
just
lot of people do. They stop. As soon as someone gives them a
they
diagnosis,
take it. They take it and lay down and they take it. And that's not what
yeah.
that's not what we're doing here. We're doing something completely different. I'm sorry, I gotta heat up this stuff for Butters. He hasn't eaten before yet. Oh my goodness. But
And this is
no, I
something
don't
that
I don't lay down and take it. I mean, and I've seen people do that, go, oh, well, it's my time. And it's like, well, is it? You know? I mean, the first thing I thought, I mean, this poor doctor was telling me, well, you got stage 4 and it's bad. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, am I going to die from this? I started laughing. I was like, because I just thought, cancer, huh? That's funny. I never saw that taking me out. I still don't. I mean, I'm going to go down in a flame of glory and it's going to be saving the world. It's going to be, yeah, like Independence Day or some shit.
Mhm.
So, oh, and then I've done rooms like this. My inner sanctum, my guest room for Sue. This is Sue's room. Yeah,
You built all of that.
that together myself. Yeah, sure did.
Yep. We're losing you a little bit.
I can't paint right now. Okay, hold on. I've got to do this thing for Butters.
Yeah, as you're walking around,
Yeah.
I'm losing signal.
Is it going in and out?
Yep, yeah.
That's a little too hot right now.
So Sabrina, why don't
I'm gonna
we
try again, buddy. My little
why
buddy.
don't we finish off and just let everybody know. Did you get a PO box finally?
Yes, I did, and I checked it today. I've checked it twice, and both times I had somebody else's mail in it. It was two different people.
Okay, so
I
let
had to check.
everybody know how they can get a hold of you if they want to send you a little card or something. Do you remember what the PO box is?
Yes, I got it. Well, I got to look in my wallet. Hold on.
Because people do like to still send things and
That's sweet. Yeah, I got stuff from Maricel in Puerto Rico. Oh my gosh.
oh, she makes good
She
soaps
sent
and
me.
things.
Oh my gosh, she made the best soap. And the lotion is really nice. And it was pretty strong frankincense because I told her I like frankincense. And but it dissipated quickly. So I was wearing that because that lotion is amazing. And some lip balm, and she sent me some salt scrub for my feet because you're dealing with so many different issues. Like right now I'm doing xylitol tablets to keep mouth sores away because that's awful.
Mm.
Don't want it. Your feet peel, so I'm doing those ionic things, and that helps. And I was doing this. It's a colloidal silver, but now they call it something else. It's like a seaweedy thing or something to put on your feet to keep them from peeling. Because man, your feet start peeling, and that hurts.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
sensitive.
yeah. So she sent me some like a salt scrub to soak my feet and to scrub them with the salt and then put the lotion on it. And I was like, that works. Because you're constantly trying to, I mean, just head to toe. What can I do about this? What can I do about this situation? Because like I was bruising very easily and it was weird bruises. And I was like, I'm not one to, I mean, I beat myself up all the time when I go, oh, I'll think about that later, whenever, I'll just be hitting myself, well, I'm carrying this big 100-pound pot with a tree in it. I'll think about that later, and then I had these Butters hit me pretty hard jumping on the golf cart. I mean, he came in hot and it was like a welt that went around my whole calf. And I was like, I don't bruise like that. I mean, I'm usually, I usually don't bruise a lot. And if I do, it doesn't do
Not like
anything
that.
like that. Yeah. So I said, well, I'm going to take 500 milligrams of vitamin C. I'm going to do that every other day because I mean, I got to have vitamin C and need to combat that, And they were, I have a pharmacist, I have a team, and I can stuff like that with them, because you don't want to do too much vitamin C because it could cancel out the benefits of the chemo. So it's just things like that that I have to know, things not to eat because it cancels out the benefits, things that you can eat that wash away the extra medicine you don't need, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I've learned a lot,
Yeah. What's the PO box?
It is PO Box 668, and that's in Oakland. It's big oak trees there, Florida, and that's 34760.
Okay, terrific.
Cards and letters coming.
Yeah. All right,
So,
so
yeah,
whoever watches this, thank you for watching, and we'll
thank y'all.
we'll let you know what's going on in the future, okay? Much love to you.
Yep.
Bye.